It's as good a sequel as you can possibly hope for. It expands the world, it tells a unique and interesting story, it's really funny.
I was just about to say that. We were about to say that at the same time.
Joy has to mourn. There are things that I can't protect Riley from. That's both sad and also beautiful because Riley is on her way to being a functional adult.
I love our girl. How could you not?
I don't know how to stop anxiety. Neither does anybody in my profession. The reason we have anxiety so often is the I'm not good enough wound. My entire life, the biggest fear was that if people saw the real me, the real me is unlovable. So I have to be something else. It's such a helpless feeling.
Please. What am I missing?
This is why cinema therapy exists. Because art has a healing power as we go on the journeys with the characters, and their wins become our wins, their lessons become our lessons.
It allows us to see inside of others and through their journeys, experience our own journey, and damn you, Pixar. Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs therapy.
I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. What do we got?
We're gonna get absolutely wrecked. We're gonna get destroyed.
Yay.
It's gonna be great. Everyone will love it, because we're gonna talk about Inside Out 2.
Well,
the whole thing. The
yeah.
whole big shebang. We already did an episode about the first bit of Inside Out with Kelsey, the director, and Mark, the producer.
Well, so we watched the first third in Pixar, and then we had to wait 6 weeks. We got invited to the premiere, hashtag humble brag, hashtag blessed. And I remember we're at the premiere, we're sitting in the theater, and we're in suits. And I remember just sobbing.
Yeah.
Like, all of the magic of the night just wore off, and I was just sobbing my little eyes out. But I was surrounded by a bunch of people who were as well, so it was
doing
fine.
the same thing. It's as good a sequel as you can possibly hope for. It expands the world, it tells a unique and interesting story, it's really funny. In many ways, I think funnier than the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just nailed it on all counts.
Anxiety is right. Riley doesn't need us as much as she needs them. And that hurts. It really hurts.
Joy, you've made a lot of mistakes, a lot. And you'll make a whole lot more in the future. But if you let that stop you, we might as well lie down and give up now.
Well, actually, that does sound kind of nice.
Ow! Come on.
It's so emotionally affecting because, you know, we've seen Joy be down in the first film to an extent, but like she's depressed. Like this is the opposite of Joy.
Yeah.
And she's also, you know, drawing the wrong conclusions.
Psychologically, I think it's so fascinating because each of these characters is meant to represent a singular emotion. And yet our emotional experience doesn't play out like that. In fact, that's kind of the purpose of the first film is you can't have joy without sadness. You can have happiness without sadness, the feeling of being delighted, the feeling of being amused, the feeling of being carefree. But you can't have joy without sadness because joy is a profound, mature emotion. To experience actual joy, not like the fleeting sensation of happiness, but the lived experience of joy, you have to have gratitude. You have to have compassion, and you can't have gratitude for the good times without experiencing the hard times, and you can't have compassion without experiencing sadness. And so once you start to see at the end of the first film that the yellow and the blue start to mix together, we start to get just on the nose this notion of there's no such thing as just like a singular emotional experience.
Right.
And so I've seen some people criticize online, joy isn't supposed to be angry, she's joy. And I think the whole point is, at a certain point, our emotional experience is a cocktail. All of these characters are influencing each other. The fact that we see sadness smile sometimes.
Sure.
The fact that we see anger here offering encouragement, which is something that joy would normally do. Joy is rubbed off on anger. Anger is rubbed off on joy, as evidenced by the profanity.
Exactly. Right? Horrifying profanity.
Jiminy, mother, loving toaster strudel.
You know, the other part of this is, I hate to have to remind people of this, it's a movie. It's not real. There aren't little glowing people in your head driving a console. The metaphor that they've created for this film works remarkably. They've stretched it to an extreme degree, and it still pretty much holds up. The one area where you can say that it falls down is the emotions have to be characters. And in order to be a character, you have to be well-rounded. Otherwise, you're an archetype, and that's not fun to watch.
What? I can't always be the rage guy.
I am Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist, but before I earned my master's in marriage and family therapy, I started with a bachelor's in psychology.
If you're thinking about a career as a counselor or a psychologist, or you're just interested in the psychology behind movies like this one, you might want to consider starting your education with a bachelor's in psychology. Just like Jonathan.
Just like me.
Not like me, I'm a college dropout.
So, I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University.
SNHU has one of the largest accredited, non-profit, online degree offerings in the entire country.
Now, I want to tell you all a little more about their psychology program. In this program, you'll explore the inner workings of the human mind and lay the groundwork for diverse career paths where it's critical to understand human behavior.
And it's not just psychology. SNHU offers a range of programs to suit all kinds of passions and career goals. Whether you're interested in business administration, exploring the world of video game development, or protecting our digital landscapes with a degree in cybersecurity, SNHU has you covered.
Not only will a bachelor's degree in psychology from SNHU prepare you for a wide variety of career paths, but it will give you a strong foundation for additional advanced degrees needed to treat patients in clinical settings.
SNHU is also radically affordable.
Cowabunga!
Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation.
Go to snhu.edu/cinematherapy, also linked in the description below, to see what courses you could take and to request free information about the program.
When you request information, a real, actual person will hop on a call with you and discuss how the program can benefit you personally.
It only takes one click to find your calling.
Look at the smile on Anxiety's face. I remember we talked with Kelsey, the director, and several other people involved with the film. It was very important to them that Anxiety be the antagonist.
Not the villain, though, right?
But not the villain. That everything Anxiety does is with the intention of helping Riley.
But Anxiety only has the tool set that Anxiety has.
Right.
She can only use Anxiety to help Riley, which Anxiety can be helpful, and they make a point of illustrating how that works.
Hearing Riley's voice saying, "I'm a good person," and it's faltering is so heartbreaking.
Oh man, it's... The voice actress that played Riley crushed it.
I'm not good enough.
What?
I'm not good enough.
Here goes.
I'm not good enough.
I love when they cut outside.
She knows that there's always room for self-improvement. She'll be fine.
He's just like, I can fix it.
I can fix it. I can fix it. Let me make more plans.
I know it's an Inside Out movie. It's a Pixar movie. More than that, it's an Inside Out movie. So what's going to be the gut punch? And I'm waiting for it for most of the movie. And I'm like, I'm on board. I'm having a good time. I'm still not seeing where this is all going. And that's intentional.
Yeah.
Because you want the audience to feel what Anxiety feels. When you hear Riley say, "I'm not good enough," and Anxiety, you can see on her face, like, what?
Oh, no.
Like, that's not what I was going for.
And that's how it does such a great job of solidifying. She's not the villain here.
Plot twists and third acts and where things are going. When it's done perfectly, in my opinion, it should be both surprising, like you didn't see it coming, and then once it happens, it's like, of course.
Inevitable, yeah.
And I think this is why it resonates so much with so many people, regardless of age or gender. Yes, it is very much honed in on the experience of teenage girls. They consulted with a whole panel of teenage girls to get the voice right, to get the emotional experience right.
Yep.
You know, the
Riley squad.
So it very specifically speaks to that emotional experience, but also on a very universal level, that pain of I'm not good enough, I cannot tell you how that drives almost every therapy session I've ever had. And of the stupid, hurtful things I've ever done in my life,
How much of it was behind it?
I carried the I'm not good enough belief for about 35 years.
Yep.
And anytime that I was dishonest, anytime that I overpromised and underdelivered, anytime that I pretended, anytime that I tried to protect myself from getting hurt or to protect another person from being disappointed in me, or a million things that I have done in my life, all come from this wound. So when you see Riley making decisions that hurt the people she cares about, when she's running on anxiety like it's her coffee, my heart just ached for her. And when I talk about accountability, when I talk about honesty, when I talk about vulnerability, these are the things that I've been able to cultivate in my life to the betterment of my relationships and my own mental and emotional health. by accepting, what we're going to get to in a little bit, which is all of me deserves love.
I'm a good person.
It makes me so sad, like that's dying. That I'm a good person. Believe.
Joy. So, what do we do now?
I don't know. I don't know how to stop anxiety. Maybe we can't. Maybe this is what happens when you grow up. You feel less joy.
Damn you, Pixar.
Psychologically speaking, like, the most beautiful and painful thing about that scene is it's not a scene that's later going to be fully resolved. Like, they're in this hopeless place, but then there's going to be some solution when she says, I don't know how to stop anxiety. Neither does anybody in my profession. Curtail, manage, still find meaning, still find joy in life.
Around.
Yeah, absolutely. But how to stop anxiety?
Just the... Obviously, I'm gutted because Joy's line, maybe when you get older, you just feel less joy, is true. It is. People look back on their childhood and their early adolescence as this magical time when everything was great. And it was just joy. And people want to life was better in the 80s. And it's like, it wasn't, objectively. If you look at objective measures, it was not. But you felt more joy. And that's because as you get older, things get more complicated. And joy, like that simple childlike joy, gets pushed out. It can be replaced with true joy, like you've talked about already in this episode. But that joy, it's always tinged with another emotion. That carefree, just solid yellow ball of joy that is your memory that you can play, that goes away.
It does. And you have to mourn it. The creators have talked about Joy being like one of Riley's parents. And as Riley grows up, she has to step back a little bit, just like a parent would, because now your daughter has more of a social life. Friends matter more. Individuality matters more. And, it's like when they say, where's Family Island? Oh, there it is. Like, it's like
this little
this
teeny thing.
And Joy has to mourn. There are things that I can't protect Riley from. And that's both sad and also beautiful, because Riley is on her way to being a functional adult.
I'm not good enough.
You have to score!
Anderson! Penalty box! 2 minutes!
No! Grace, are you okay?
Yelled at by the coach, hurt her friend.
We hurt Grace! It all happened so fast!
And now that just increases the anxiety. Like, this is so accurate.
Yep. When anxiety is driving, the things that you do increase anxiety.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Oh no, what did I do? No. I can fix it.
And all of these negative, I love that they kick all the negative thoughts about self to the back of the mind.
Yeah.
And in order to get back to headquarters, they have to just let them loose.
Yeah. This, by the way, is maybe the one sort of metaphor issue I have with this movie, is this giant moment of self-realization that's about to happen right here. Doesn't usually happen until your late 20s.
Yeah. I don't mind that sheet because of the lesson it teaches.
Because of the lesson it teaches.
But yeah, you're right. Like,
this sort of integration of everything that is you and just being like kind of okay with it.
Real life Riley would struggle with this for 10 or 15 years. Go to therapy.
It's therapy, yeah. You get to therapy in your mid-30s and you're like, oh, okay.
Riley, get it together.
Come on, Riley, get it together.
I'm not good enough.
But outside, I mean, it's for the story, it's perfect.
Well, but also conversely, like showing young audiences, like you don't
have to wait that long.
You can deal with it
If I
now.
had had this, I wouldn't have had to wait.
Yeah. I think there's power there. Oh my gosh, it's so visceral.
The design of how it looks and then the animation of anxiety.
Yeah.
I mean, the animation on Riley is perfect. This.
Oh, I've had
And
a
then
panic
that.
attack, and I know you have as well. Like, It shows you what it looks like when it shows her, and then it shows you what it feels like in here.
I've never actually had a panic
Have you
attack.
not?
This is my experience of panic attack, and I look at it and I go, I don't want that.
In my experience, this is very accurate.
Not working! It's anxiety!
Just this maelstrom of trying to fix it and feeling powerless to fix it.
And then the fact that anxiety is moving so fast, she's just phasing through everything. She's the Flash.
Yeah.
You don't get to choose who Riley is. Anxiety? You need to let her go.
I've heard some people say, I don't like that anxiety is the villain, and I'm like,
She's not the villain.
She's not. They clearly show that she's not.
She's doing the best she can.
And they think the answer is go back to how things were. I'm a good person.
I'm a good person.
And it's just not landing. And I relate so much to Joy right here, like this sheer sense of panic of...
Joy, I'm sorry. I was just trying to protect her.
When you throw everything you've got at somebody else's pain or at your pain and it doesn't even make a dent.
Yeah.
It's such a helpless feeling. And I felt that way in my own life. I felt that way in the therapy office with people. You know, there have been times where they're looking at me with this desperation in their eyes and I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
And that's scary as hell. And as a parent, you know, when you can't comfort your kids, like there's so many applications of this.
You know, at the end of the day at the office, if you don't have an answer, like the pressure has got to be enormous.
Well, and I have trained myself to just to instill confidence.
You gotta just leave it.
Well, and I have to instill confidence in the person in front of me and myself of, look, we're not going to find the solution to this today, but I trust the process. And I trust that you're the expert on you and your experience, and I'm the expert on the psychological side, and together we're gonna find it.
Sure.
And so sometimes we just cling by our fingernails to that hope, and then it pays off, you know. But man, those helpless moments.
This is going to go down as one of the all-time great scenes in film history. 50 years from now, people are going to be talking about this scene in film as one that was one of the most deeply emotionally affecting and brilliantly executed scenes ever. Yeah. Because it works completely within the world that we've created, which is a fantastical world of inside a brain, there's a control room. And it is so unexpected and out of left field and completely perfect. The representation of what an anxiety attack looks like from the inside and from the outside. And the fact that, for people like me I've never had an anxiety attack before. Like, I feel for people who have them, and now I know why I feel for people who have them. Because I've only ever seen it from the outside. And it's like, I see what you're going through, and that's terrible. But now I can see inside to a version of it, right? And I've talked to so many people like you and others who have had anxiety attacks or suffer from anxiety disorders. And they describe that as being like so similar to what they feel. This film gave me empathy where once I just had sympathy. Like I can feel your feelings now.
We don't get to choose who Riley is.
Which is what she was doing when she's like,
And toss the rest.
Get rid of these parts of Riley.
Well, and
with this extreme avoidance. Because we want Riley to see herself as a good person.
Yeah. Which on the surface, yeah, that's a great idea, right?
Yeah. Again, always good intentions. All these positive and negative experiences, quote unquote.
And this is a beautifully simple representation of such a complex idea that building an identity for yourself that is not true to who and what you are some part of you will know.
We'll reject it, yeah.
And will reject it.
Yeah.
I'm selfish. I'm kind. I'm not good enough. I'm a good person. I need to fit in, but I want to be myself. I'm brave, but I get scared. Success is I make mistakes. I'm nice. I'm mean. I'm a good friend. I'm a terrible friend. I am strong. I need help sometimes.
And the way forward is to embrace everything.
Yeah.
To love yourself in all your complexity, the good parts and the bad, and just realize you're a person.
Yeah. And that makes you good enough.
Damn you, Pixar.
But see how it... And then
I love that.
Yeah,
Love that.
A little bit of... It's not grounding, but it's tactile.
Touch
you know?
grass.
Yeah.
But a bench, whatever.
But orient yourself to your present situation and where you are. Feel it physically.
Riley, you okay?
Yeah. I mean, no.
Love that.
I was such a jerk to you guys. When you guys told me you were going to a different school, I freaked out. And I'm so sorry. If you don't want to be friends anymore, I get it. But I really hope that you can forgive me. Someday.
Because it's Pixar and a Disney movie and everything, they forgive her and things work out okay and whatever. But that's not the important part. The important part is she has accepted who she is and is starting to make amends.
Yeah.
She is moving into a more adult phase of her life where she can accept that I'm flawed. That doesn't make me a bad person, but I have to apologize for and do what I can to correct the bad things that I've done.
Yeah. Or if we don't want to slap the bad label on it, the hurtful things. Or
Sure.
the not supportive things. You all know that I love accountability, and I love the accountability in the scene. But there's so much more happening here than just that.
It's the accountability to self.
Yeah.
It's accepting and then physically embracing.
So good. The two drums we beat on most on this channel are compassion and accountability. Compassion allows us to extend grace and forgiveness and healing. Accountability allows us to make things right and not get stepped on and draw boundaries. And they're like the yin yang, the salty and sweet, like you need them both, and they're actually highly compatible. And when Riley practices personal accountability, but also extends compassion to herself. So when we talk about, I don't know how to stop anxiety, like chemically we have anti-anxiety meds, but therapeutically, anxiety will happen, panic will happen, but generally speaking, you soothe yourself physically, and then psycho-emotionally, you start repeating the things that remind you of compassion for yourself, love for yourself, acceptance for yourself, balanced with ownership and growth. And when you do those things, things feel manageable. The reason that we have high anxiety is this belief that I can't handle this. We feel panic when we feel like I don't know the solution, I don't know what to do, I can't handle this. And as soon as we step into compassion and accountability, it's like I have the tools I need. Human nature has always been judgmental. This is a good person, this is a bad person.
It's easier. You can put people in a box and then you don't have to think about them again.
The issue then is when we do things that go against our values, I'm a bad person.
I'm not good enough.
We want to increase harmony and connection and love and heal our societies and our families, and we can't do it by, I'm not good enough, I'm a bad person, you're not good enough, you're a bad person, because we say these behaviors are bad, therefore the person is bad. And when Joy hugs Riley's sense of self in all of its complexity and then all the other emotions rush in, and Riley does that same thing, the reason we have anxiety so often is the I'm not good enough wound. So often is I'm going to be rejected, I'm going to be alone. I'm not going to be loved. My dreams aren't going to come true. And we just play the tape of our fears over and over and over again.
If I'm good at hockey, I'll have friends.
Every human being is a collection of strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And so either everybody deserves love or nobody does. And if nobody does, that's a bleak way to live. So
yeah, it's wrong. It's just wrong.
Sorry. So I choose to say everybody does, and it has to include myself. My decades-long fight with self-loathing is finally ending. And I'm jealous of Riley because she got it in an afternoon while sitting in the penalty box. But this is the power of cinema therapy, and this is the power of movies. Movies show us a principle, and it can be real and psychologically sound, but it has to be done in the short.
It's contained in 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's contained in 90 minutes. But the actual principle is accurate. My entire life, the biggest fear was that if people saw the real me, the real me is unlovable. The real me is unlovable, so I have to be something else. I can't, and if I make a mistake, I can't let people know, because then they'll see that I'm not good enough, and then they'll reject me.
Yeah.
And then I did a lot of things that I'll regret for the rest of my life because of that energy. But I'm not a bad person. I'm just a person. And people could, like, say you hadn't seen all of Inside Out 2. Say you just watched a highlight reel of clips of how Riley treated her friends. Can you imagine the hate Riley would get online for being such a horse friend and a piece of garbage person?
Oh, dude, I can already see the TikTok that's just, here's this terrible girl and what she did to her friends, and isn't she the worst? Let's all hate her now.
Riley is trash. Yeah. And yet, we never know the pain that people carry. We never know the insecurity and the fear that drives the behavior. But you're right. How she treated her friends was wrong and hurtful, and she needs to make amends for that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean she's a bad person. Something that's happened for me is when I started to hug my unlovable parts and to love all of them. Changes that I wanted to make for decades, I was actually finally able to make because I wasn't trying to change based on fear and anxiety. I changed them by looking in the mirror and being like, I like that guy. I want to take care of him. I want to do right by him.
Yeah, you treat yourself like a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to let go of things and to change the behaviors.
It gets lost because there's a lot of sound going on in music and all of this stuff, but did you hear the last thing the sense of self says before Joy hugs it?
Mm-mm.
I need help. We all need help.
Yeah.
You needed help. You're now at a point where you can give yourself the help, and that's great.
And I'm also in a better place to give others help than I ever was before.
Yeah.
This is why cinema therapy exists. Because art has a healing power as we go on the journeys with the characters, and their wins become our wins. Their lessons become our lessons. Their healing becomes our healing.
One thing that I've felt, especially as I've gone through therapy and learned to, take care of myself, is that, like, anxiety can grab hold of a person if they're in denial about who they are. If you are saying, I'm a good person, and that's your entire sense of self is just, I'm a good person. Yeah. But there's parts of you that have done bad things, or hurt people, or been selfish. It's not whole, and so anxiety can step in and say, oh, well, we have to protect ourselves from all of the possible futures where someone finds us out.
Yeah, so we lie. Or, and to preserve the idea that I'm good, it has to be somebody else's fault that I did this thing.
Yeah, and that's where this anxiety attack comes from, is that pressure of performing a version of yourself that isn't real to maintain your lie to yourself. The power in this is accepting who and what you are and loving yourself will unlock your ability to take care of yourself, and it'll unlock your ability to love and take care of everyone else. Yeah. This is the power of, like you said, this is the power of cinema. This is the power of storytelling, is it allows us to see inside of others and through their journeys, experience our own journey. And damn you, Pixar. So until next time.
Hi, kid! I'm Pouchy! What's gonna help you through this anxiety attack? Is it self-love? Is it online gambling?
Jiminy mother loving toaster strudel. And watch movies!
Thank you to all of the fine folks over on our Patreon who support what we do.
and get a freaking really, really long director's cut this time.
Folks like
Paul Antoniessen,
Matt Larson,
Cade Brady,
Jack Mason.
This is gonna sound like I'm making this up. I'm not. Alan's Bucket of Tears.
That's
their
their
username
that's their
on our
username.
Patreon is Alan's Bucket of Tears.
Oh, that's cool.